get started on our feature 1, which is user account creation. We're going to start on the front end and work our way back. Okay, so if you look at our wireframe designs, we're going to be creating the user account workflow in terms of sign up page, login page, okay? But we're not going to get to the part of resetting our password or changing our account details, okay? So not too much front end work to do, but we are gonna have to set up React Router, all right? I went ahead and started, all right? If you wanna use React Router, which you probably should if you're going to have different pages, right? React does a single page application, but React Router, on the other hand, will allow you to have multiple pages, okay? So in my user account creation, if you open up the story, you'll see that we want a sign up page within the router, okay? So our router as a whole has the index route that loads the element app. If we go and look at app, you'll see I have my Chakra provider, okay, which allows me to use the Chakra UI components. And then I have a header, all right, which if you look in my app, just says header. And then, yep, all it does is return header, okay? And then I have this thing called outlet, okay? Outlet is from React Router DOM. So this is the index path and it loads app. Then all of the children paths are written below. So whatever I add to this URL, the path, and I can put in sign up, and it's going to say sign up page, okay? But it's also going to keep header. That's because the parent path has app and always includes app, okay? App includes the header and then whatever else is loaded by these children components, okay? So if I change it to login, then it's going to change to login page, okay? So let's look at our wireframe. So I created a sign up page within the router and looks like that is all for this one, okay? So next I need to create a form that collects the name, email, address, username, password, and profile photo, okay? So let's go back to React, all right? So I need to do that for my login, or for my sign up page. Okay, so let's look at the sign up page. Instead of displaying sign up page, I need to go ahead and build out this UI, okay? So I'm gonna switch over to my pages, okay. Here is also just a little explanation. The way I separate my React components is by pages and then components. So components like header, right, is a reusable component that I can use on my application. It's not specifically tied to anything. Pages are specific. This is my login page. This is my sign-in page. Pages will have components within them, okay? So maybe you'll have a component that's like a styled button, or you'll have a drop-down menu, or you'll have an input form, okay? Those are components that go within pages. Pages are specific to the content that's displaying. Components should be reusable, okay? It's all right if it's not perfect, because again, our motto is make it work and then make it better, okay? But I like to start with a structure, all right, and then refactor to make it cleaner. Okay, so we're gonna start with the sign up page, all right? So when looking at my page here, I am going to kind of use the design to get me started, okay? So I'm gonna say that the whole page is going to be a box, okay? Then within it, I'm going to have a box for my form. So I can just write form. And then I am going to have a heading for create an account. Okay, let's go take a look. All right, create an account, and then a form, and then above it, I have my header, okay? You can see I have the headers here, which we'll need to make, but we're just gonna start with this. All right, so now we're gonna go work on the form section of it. Now, when I first am working on the front end, I don't really worry about making it super small. So I will do everything on the sign up page just right here in the same component. And then after it's all working, I'll start separating it into smaller components. But a lot of people do that in reverse. So it's kind of up to you on how you want to do it. All right. So within my form, I'm going to then use Chakra UI for form. So I would go and try to find, okay, input. And then I would look at for what I want, right? So on my design, I have name, email, username, password. Okay, so at least name, email, username are going to be just like regular text forms with a label, okay? So I would go through and I would try to figure out how do I do a label, how do I do input, and I would see, what does show do? Oh, shows and hides your password. That's actually kind of nice. Maybe I could use that. Okay, so it looks like they're just using a text to label. Okay. Looks like I can style the placeholder. All right. But pretty much it looks like they're using just a text to do the label. And then they're using just input for the rest. Okay. Not too shabby. So I'm going to go up to the basic one and copy it and paste it in. I'm going to make sure I import it and then I'm going to save it. So it goes. I don't think I'm going to have a placeholder because I think I want to use to match my design and I want to do a label with it. Okay, so each input will have a text and then we'll say name. And then I'm going to need to input it and import it from Chakra. Sometimes text doesn't pop up. I'm not really sure why. All right, so name, good. I think I'm going to, so I'm going to say like this box then is going to be my like box for each input. So I actually think I want another box that I'm going to put that in. That's going to be my form. Okay. I think I want to limit the width of it a little bit. So that way it's not taking up the whole page. So I'm going to say max width equals, let's say 75% and see how that looks. Okay. That doesn't look too bad. All right. So I am going to say this is display flex. All right, I want this to be, I still want this to be flex direction column. Okay, but I want the gap to be, let's try 2. Perfect. I think that looks pretty good. I could have used margin bottom, but I like to use flex. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I feel like this heading I want in the center of the page. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I feel like I want this to be in the center of the page too. All right. I think that this should be, have a margin top to it. So I am going to try change it around a little bit. Can I add a margin top here? Yes, okay. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so then now I'm going to copy and paste this. All right. So this makes me feel like I want to do display flex again, flex direction column. Okay. And then we're going to say align items center. Okay, but we got to play around with this a little bit. Sometimes when you switch around, the width gets a little bit weird. Okay, so this was fine that we're going to do max width is 75%. That's fine. The issue is that these boxes aren't doing the full width. So we can do width equals 100%. All right. And then we can do width equals 100%. Okay, that looks pretty good. So then I want to get rid of this border and I want to add gap equals, let's try 2. Feels like that's a little close, so let's try 4. That looks good to me. And then let's try to see if we can center this. All right. And then I still feel like this needs a little bit more space. Okay, that looks better. All right, so then let's look at our wireframe. Also, I'm not really worried too much about the style of this at this moment. Like, I honestly feel like this seems too big, so I might change this to text. But I don't really have like a color scheme or anything like that right now. But as we go, we will be able to add that stuff. I think 20 was fine. Okay. Next, so we have name, email address. Okay. Then let's copy this. And username. Okay, and then password. All right, and then we have profile photo. I think we're gonna end up doing the profile photo later, and I can do like one whole video with the profile photo. So we're gonna skip that for now. Instead, we're just gonna add the submit button. All right, then let's import it and see how it looks. Okay, looks pretty good. All right, I like it. All right, so now let's figure out how we're going to do password. So I'm going to search for password. All right, it looks like we're going to say type is password. I kind of like the idea of doing this though, so I think this could be fun. But I'm going to make that on my next iteration. So input type equals password. All right. I'm going to say, nope, that's text. Say type equals text. Type equals email. And let's do type equals text. And let's take a look. Okay. So we have a form. Let's go over here. Create an account form that collects name, email, address, username, password, and profile photo. Okay, so we don't have the profile photo yet, but I'm going to click yes. Okay, and then I will go ahead and make another user story for adding the profile photo afterwards. All right, create onChange function that saves an account form, the create an account form data. Okay, I can do that. So I think the easiest way to do this is to do multiple onChange functions, and then you would have a state for each one and update them, and then send onSubmit. Okay? I think to show off the make it work and then make it better, I'm going to start with the easiest method. Okay? So I'm going to use state to save my information. So I'm going to say const name, set name, use state, okay? And then we'll start out with just an empty string. Okay? And then I'm going to do the same thing. All right, for the rest of so email. All right, username. And then password. All right, okay. So then we are going to create our onChange functions. We're going to say const onChange name. We're going to say, we'll have an event come in. Say event is any. And then we're going to say set name e.target.value. Okay. And then we are going to here say onChange is equal to onChange name. All right. So we're going to test that this works first before we copy and paste and use it again. So we're going to say console.log e.target.value. All right, and then we're going to inspect. So let's go ahead and take a look. So onChange, yep, it should console log that. Perfect. All right, and then it should set the name. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to create an onSubmit so that way we can make sure that the state was saved properly. So we're just, what are we going to call it? onSubmit. Perfect. All right. We're going to say console.log name. All right. So for here, we'll say on click is going to call on submit. All right, let's open up our console. We're going to say Callie. Perfect. Then we're going to say on submit, and it should say Callie. If I do Callie Stove's Cup, on click, it should say Callie Stove's Cup. All right, so that works. So what we're going to do now then is we're going to copy this and we're going to use it again for the rest of our data. All right, so we're going to say onChange email. We will be setting our email. onChange username. We will be setting our username. onChange password. We will be setting our password. Okay. And then on submit, we're going to console log the name. We're going to console log email. we are going to console log username. And we are going to console.log password. All right, let's give this a try, shall we? We are going to say Callie Stoscup. We are going to say Callie Stoscup at gmail.com. Which I don't feel great. Oh, see, this is why you always test, okay? Because I didn't attach any of the on changes here. All right, so on change. On change. All right, so now we have all of our on-change functions working. So if I change this, perfect. Let's say cstoscup, all right, and then let's say password. All right, that looks good. So now if I clear my console and then I click submit, I should see all four. Name, Callie Stoscup, email, calliestoscup@gmail.com, username, cstoscup, password. All right, perfect. That is a good form. All right, but that's not actually what we want to do on submit. Okay, so let's take a look. So it looks like on change is good. All right, so now we need to create an on submit function that sends the form data to the API and saves the response JWT to local storage and then redirects users to the projects page. Okay, we can start to work on that. We'll probably pause before this one is over though, because this does involve a lot of work on the back end. And we don't want to have a 2-hour-long video. So we are going to want to first set up the route on the back end and then console log what's coming in. So we are going to want a route that will come in. And we want this route to be in a different folder because we don't want it to come in through the app controller because we want to have it be an authorized route. So we're going to look into the authentication portion here. So we're going to go ahead and cd into the API folder. Okay. And then we are going to start by installing our module. So you can see now we have an auth module. Let's get an auth controller. And then let's get an auth service. We're not going to worry about locking them down right now, but we want this controller to be able to accept our route, okay? So this is gonna start going through setting up the user service, and that's not exactly what we wanna do. We wanna just start making our controller route and then go from there, okay? So we do need a constructor because we're going to want to be able to have an auth service. So we are going to use that. Okay. Then we can do our route. So we're going to do a post, and we're going to call it sign up. And then we're going to do sign up body, because we're going to pass in a body, and we're going to call it the sign up DTO. And it is going to be of the type sign up DTO. All right, which we need to make. That's why there's the red squiggly line. And then we are going to return this dot auth service dot sign up. And we are going to pass the sign up DTO information to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our sign up DTO. Our sign up DTO is going to, I'm going to open up my form so I can remember. It's going to have a name, which is going to be a string. It's going to have an email, which is going to be a string. It's going to have a username, which is going to be a string. And it's going to have a password, which is also going to be a string. Okay. Let's import the body, and let's import the post. And then we're going to go over to the auth service, where we can then go ahead and create our method within service for sign up. And then we're going to console.log the sign up DTO. All right. All right, so we don't have any errors right now. So let's go ahead and start. Okay, so we are going to say my name is Callie Stoscup. We're going to say my email address is calliestoscup@gmail.com. My username is cstoscup, and my password is test. Okay, so when I click submit, nothing's going to happen. So we're going to have to fix that. On submit, it's going to console log all these things, but we already tested that, so we don't need to do that anymore. Now what we need to do is do axios.post, and then we are going to post to HTTP local host at port 3005 / and then you can see here our route is /auth/signup. All right, and then we are going to pass in our name, username, let's do it in order, email, username, password. All right, and then we are going to console log the response that comes back. All right, so when we click submit, we see our sign up DTO in the auth service is name Callie Stoscup, email calliestoscup@gmail.com, username cstoscup, password test. All right, we are going to, and then we have a successful response here. Let's take a look. All right, we still have quite a few more things to do on this user story, but we are going to take a break for now, and I will see you in the next video.